Hey, Kathy, is your chat, you want to be in the Cub Scout breakout?
Money, smoke's going for them. I bet I could pick 3 of them out.
I'm seeing your screen, Brian, just so you know.
Yeah, the screen should be fine. The problem is I can't stream it to Facebook. So we'll work it out.
All right.
When did the Facebook page show that video? I haven't seen that before.
Oh, at the top?
Yeah.
It's
I've
been
been
there
there
for
a while. I just missed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Please rename yourself with a prefix.
If I didn't know they wanted something to eat of it,
This year.
throw the cobbler together.
Okay.
I'm here.
I can't remember where it's at. Where's the feature at?
It's under more.
Yeah, I don't have a more.
Well, then we're not going to Facebook, and that's aggravating because Jeff and I tested this the other day, and there's absolutely no reason why it shouldn't be working. That's bizarre.
Worked last month.
Could it be there's too many people on the Zoom meeting for it?
No, it shouldn't be. That's okay. Let's go ahead and get started. The video itself is recording, so we're fine.
Okay. Well, you got that part done.
Hey, Brian, the link is not working.
So why don't you give it, let's give it just a minute. Brian, why don't you make me the actual host? And why don't you post the link again on the Facebook page for those people that aren't?
Also,
The link that went out in emails isn't working. You actually have to go to Zoom and then take the number and plug it in. That's how I got on.
That's how I got on too.
evidently there were 2 links sent out relatively close to each other, and unfortunately the first one wasn't accurate. The second one was. So a couple other folks had indicated that that was a problem, but appreciate you finding a workaround on it.
That's why we got the camera on the fire.
All right. Welcome. We've got 56 people on Zoom. So really appreciate you guys taking some time out of your evening to participate in our second of our series of virtual roundtables. It's important that we continue to communicate and share information that's critical and evolving every minute, it seems like. But before we get too deep into things, let's send it to West Lafayette, where Jason and Ben from Pack 3315 will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Scout salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2.
Excellent. Now we'll head out to Georgetown, where Caden, Grant, and Jacob from Pack 3520 and Troop 528 will lead us in the Scout Oath and Law.
On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
All right. Excellent job. Excellent. Okay, a couple housekeeping items before we get into some of the actual program pieces. If you do have questions, use the chat function in Zoom. You can share it with everyone. If we're on Facebook, if we get that going, that'll be the comment section. And we'll try to answer all those as we can. We'll have a brief question and answer period depending on the time frame. But if we don't get to your question during the Q&A or aren't able to answer it off of the chat, we will make sure that we post everything in the format frequently asked question format and put it on our website tomorrow. If you would please mute your computer. That way we won't hear all the background noises. I know my dogs are going crazy in the other room, so I'll mute as soon as I'm done here. And as we mentioned before, we will have breakout sessions. So if you want to participate in the Cub Scout breakout session, indicate a CS before your name. And if you want to participate in the Scouts BSA, do SB in front of your name. And the way you do that is go up on your name on the video and just right click, and there's a rename option that comes up. And when it pops up, just edit your name accordingly. Just for if you're one way or the other, you're not sure, Cub Scouts will be going through a Cub Scout planning year and some ideas and suggestions on how to do that. And Scouts BSA will be reviewing summer camp for first-time Scouts, particularly since we haven't had an opportunity for a lot of the Scouts to have some camping experience heading into summer camp season. So those are the two topics. I think that's all I've got here. So we're going to send it over to Lauren Randall, who's going to lead us in a campfire song.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is over.
You put my
What's up? What's up?
They're older than the trees, younger than the mountains. Take home, I belong. All my memories gather around her. Miner's lady, stranger to the water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Mist shakes the moonshine, teardrop in my country road. Take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mount Mama. Take me home, country road. I hear a voice in the morning now, she calls me. Radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get the feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country road, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road.
Singing along, and I think I actually heard a few of you there. All right, I'm still on mute. No, I'm not on mute. All right, a couple items, additions to some of the program things that we've been doing while we've not been meeting in person. Ran through a series of them last month, and here's some new ones, and there's a full list available on the council website, sagamorebsa.org. But we've been doing Merit Badge Mondays, featuring a different merit badge each week. Had some very strong participation in that, opportunity to continue advancement. In fact, advancement's tracking pretty steadily to where we were this time last year. So very positive what the units are doing and what the council's been doing to help with that. We also did some Earth Day tree planting, used that opportunity as a fundraiser as well. For every $10 donated, we planted an additional tree. So appreciate everybody that participated in that, and looking forward to those trees as they mature in our camps. And then we're also doing a Scouts Care letter writing campaign, which that's the next slide, right? Which is an opportunity to for Scouts to write letters in support of our veterans and service personnel. Here's some options of places that you can send the letters. You'll have to send them only to these. There's other areas you can send them. Pick a local VFW or something like that as well in support. But it's just one additional way that we can lend our support to the community and our veterans. And these are things that you can log as service hours in Scout Book as well. So just one more way for us to participate in the community while we're staying at home still. And then because I messed it up so badly the last time, Brian's given me an opportunity to redeem myself on the save the dates. So for fall recruitment training on July 7th, I'll be in West Lafayette at St. Andrew's United Methodist Church. July 8th, we'll be in Kokomo at Inventec. And on July 16th, we'll be at the Cass County Chamber Community Room in Logansport. And then along those same timeframes, we're going to be doing our popcorn kickoffs. So on July 9th, we'll be in Cass County Chamber in Logansport. July 14th at the North End Community Center in Lafayette. And July 15th at Inventec in Kokomo. How'd I do, Brian? All right, and I think that is it for me. So I will kick it over to Billy to cover our Big Rocks topic for the meeting.
Well, hello everybody. I hope you can see my lovely picture there. That's part of some of my family time. Yes, I can play the ukulele, but I don't tell too many people that. Let's jump right into summer camp. Summer camp is going really well. Camp is looking wonderful. Here in a minute, we're going to show some slides of some of the pictures I took today, because it's a beautiful day out here at camp. Just a couple things that we've added this year is tomahawk and knife throwing and the drone course. And then we've added a couple from the past that we put in to some of the merit badges that we're offering this year for Camp Buffalo. Also, the one thing is Billy was a barbershop closed. Man, I'm trying to read some of these things that people are putting in there. But anyhow, one of the merit badges that has been canceled for summer camp is the horsemanship merit badge. And there was an email that went out to you guys about that. All right, so if you could go to the next slide. This is the front entrance. It looks beautiful. As you can tell, the trees are starting to bloom in, and I just kind of give you a little bit of a warm welcome, what you usually see when you come to Camp Buffalo. Next slide, please. This little tree here I've been trying to save is the Ranger, and I figured you'd see the sign where it shows all the directions and go in different places. This is right outside of Beasley Hall. And then this is right off the trading post. So next slide. This is our shooting complex. Of course, you know, in the off seasons and during summer camp, we actually all down here. I have a new sign that's getting ready to go up there next week. It's going to say Camp Buffalo Shooting Complex. And I just want to make sure you guys understand that your troops can come to Camp Buffalo during off seasons. And we have an awesome shooting complex. And we also have great RSOs and instructors that volunteer to come out for you guys during those weekend adventures. So go ahead. Next slide, please. This is the Cowboy Action Shoot. We actually completed this last year. This is for the older boys. I want to make sure that you guys see that. There's actually going to be a new sign going up there as well that says Cowboy Action Shoot. We finished up some of the painting yesterday. So it's kind of one of my favorites that we built last year. So, but I just wanted to make sure you guys got to see that. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. That's our beautiful pond and our lake, Liberty Lake. And yes, it is plumb full. It's looking really well. This morning, it was really a beautiful morning sunrise. So she's plumb full. She's ready to pretty well rock and roll in my books. So go to the next slide. I love the next one. This is Raven. This was one of my favorite campsites. My troop used to camp here when I was a scoutmaster for 7 years. But when I looked at it this morning, I just had to include this in some of the slides that I'm showing you because you guys really haven't been up here to see Camp Buffalo. Next one, please. Legion Pavilion. This is where we do a lot of our adult leaders dinner or luncheon that we have on Thursdays during summer camp, and I'm looking forward to those. And the shot of the Liberty Lake out there, the distance, I just had to include that one too as well. Next one, please. Indoor archery range. One of the things that I like about summertime for the scouts, for the older boys, this is an opportunity. This building is also heated and air conditioned, so it actually gives a good atmosphere. We actually replaced all that foam. That was one of the projects we did this year, so all that's been redone in there and put Don and Randy, Don Harper and Randy Helder came up and spent an all-day Saturday doing that. So I just want you to see the new of the foaming that we've actually put in there, so it makes it safer for the boys and the girls for the scouts. Next slide. The chapel. The chapel is wonderful. I always love our chapel. It's one of my favorite spots on camp. I spend a lot of time here reading sometimes. Yes, I do read. So I wanted to show you the chapel. Chapel is used for a lot on Tuesday nights, or Monday nights, I'm sorry, during summer camp. And you can actually, we opened it up during the off season. The chapel can be rented for some weddings. If you'd like to do a wedding or anything, or court of honor, this is another good place where I've seen a lot of do court of honors here, and they can sit and enjoy the nice atmosphere of the camp. Next slide, please. Ecology. Ecology is doing great. I just wanted to include that in there. Ecology, we do a lot in the summer camp for that. It's not used in the off season that much, but however, it can be used. Sometimes I've brought down some of our folks that does ecology, and there's a lot of neat opportunities. I like showing things in there. There's some history in there. We actually have a two-legged coyote in there, and it's pretty cool that, and there's some history behind that. And I've had a lot of people come to camp just to see that two-legged coyote. So I make sure that if you're ever here to take a trip in there and see the two-legged coyote. Next slide, please. Beasley Hall, wonderful multi-purpose cult as well. We did some new painting in there this year. The back bunk rooms have been repainted, pretty well much the kitchen area, and did a lot of remodeling in there over the winter. That too can be. And if you look, we actually went back in the board, and we have actually lowered the prices on the multi-purpose, so it's a great place for you and your troops to come during the winter time and off seasons. And we have a lot of people come up and do Christmas parties here as a troop, but we did lower the prices on those, and I apologize that I don't have those in front of me, but you can reach out to Allison and we can get you a price listing on some of those. If you would please, the next slide. Winter quarters. Winter quarters are doing awesome. I just want to make sure I show you the buildings are all still standing here, and what I like about it, the leaves are starting to come on, and but it's doing pretty well. Next slide. The trading post. The trading post is an awesome place. If you notice off to the right is handicraft. I just wanted to show you that the pop machines are still there and everything there on the porch. I've seen a lot of good fellowship out on this porch over the years. I played a lot of chess on that porch too as well. Next slide. That's it. It's on to Ben. Summer camp, everything's going well. Seriously, Camp Buffalo's looking beautiful. I did some mushroom hunting early this morning, but camp is going well, and I can't wait to see all you guys here soon. So thank you. I think that's it. I'll send it to you, Ben.
Great, thanks, Billy. I first of all appreciate everybody being here. There's I don't know, like almost 90 people on here, so this is fantastic. Appreciate everybody giving up a little bit of their Wednesday night to talk scouting with us. So hey, I wanted to talk a little bit about the governor's current protocols and our recommendation for how we live within that for the time being. So As of right now, the governor has said that groups of 25 or fewer can gather for social occurrences, although we're still recommending that that everyone social distance and that we keep our space and that we wear masks. And so our encouragement to all of you is that we continue to meet only in a virtual world. If we can continue to hold scout meetings and den meetings and pack meetings in a virtual setting, that would be our preference, certainly. I realize there are some troops that would like to get out and maybe take a hike. I think you can find a way to take a hike in a very socially distant way that would be acceptable. But until we get to this next stage in the later on in May, the May 24th stage, we're strongly encouraging no campouts, no in-person meetings. May 24th, as of the governor's current status and plan, would be the day that we can open the camp properties. And then we would do that obviously with social distancing and some additional measures in place. But that offers us the opportunity to open up Camp Buffalo and Cary Camp to begin hosting events again and allowing those properties to be utilized. And I realize that, you know, our properties are very different than some other properties. Right now, having Camp Cary or Cary Camp closed when we may only have a dozen people that want to use it seems counterintuitive and counterproductive. But we're doing our best to not only abide by the regulations, but also set an example for our families and our leaders and our scouts and our community that these are the standards, and we're going to set an example for others to follow. So I know for those of you that are living in my world right now, every other question that I receive is about summer camp. And so let's talk about summer camp. Here's what we know right now. We know that the governor has said that we can open our properties on the 24th, and that guidance will be forthcoming from the CDC specifically as it relates to day and resident camps. We also know that his plan is for us to be fully open by July 4th. And so at this stage of the game, we're in the planning stage. I don't feel like we have enough information as of today to make a decision either way, whether we cancel or continue on with camp. And so for the time being, we're going to continue on and plan as though summer camp at Camp Buffalo is going to go off on schedule as planned. Now, for some of you, that's reassuring. For all of you, that should be somewhat ambiguous, and that's intentional because we just don't know enough. And I don't know that anybody knows enough. And so let me tell you a little bit about how we're thinking through this and the strategy that we're taking. First and foremost, safety is the #1 priority. If we can't find a way to operate Scouts BSA resident camp in a safe and healthy way that protects our scouts, then we won't open. And we're doing that by abiding by the BSA's National Camp Accreditation Program guidelines, by local health department guidelines, by state health department guidelines, and by the guidelines that we're still waiting for from the CDC. The CDC's guidelines being chief among those, because those are the guidelines that are specific to day and resident camps that we're looking for. So when we get those, if we see that some of the measures we've began discussing and that we think we can implement fall in line or exceed their recommendations, then I'll go back to key members of our volunteer executive board and recommend that we continue with our operation. If we see that we can't meet the CDC guidelines or the National BSA guidelines, then I'll recommend that we suspend or cancel Scouts BSA resident camp at Camp Buffalo. So let me talk a little bit about some of the things that we're thinking, and at least to give you some idea for your troops that are coming, what summer camp might look like. So First of all, we're taking very seriously the recommendations that adults over the age of 65 and those with pre-existing conditions need to stay home. And we will recommend very strongly that adults in those categories not come to camp. We realize that that will be a challenge for some units. We're working to develop plans to work through that. But the most important thing to us is the safety of our youth, our staff, and our volunteers. And so that will be number one. We're planning that, and you should plan accordingly, that scouts and adults would be one person per tent. We're working to secure some additional tents to be able to make more tents available, because we know not every unit has enough tents for one scout and one adult per tent. So we're working to be able to obtain at least another 50 canvas wall tents that would be up for use for anybody that needs them for additional social distancing. We expect the use of masks to some degree to be very much the norm at camp. Whether that's 24/7 or only certain times, I don't know yet, but you want to get yourself in that mindset that scouts are gonna need a mask and gonna have a mask. We have already, and some of you have probably been the recipients of this, we have already limited all of the class sizes to no more than 9 scouts per session. This allows us to keep groups at 10 or less and allows us to do a better job creating some social distance during our program times. We're in the process of laying out a plan that would eliminate the dining hall altogether and transition all cooking to campsite cooking via the patrol method. So scouts would be cooking on their own by patrol in groups no larger than 10. We would provide all of that food ready to be cooked, but troops would need to provide their own gear to be able to cook that food. And so certainly we can make some accommodations there, but that's the direction we're heading. We don't see any way that the regulations are going to allow us to bring 100 or 200 people into a dining hall and still be able to keep that social distance. So for a lot of you, I believe that will probably be, may very well be your largest challenge. But I want to give you some advance notice. That's the direction we're heading. We may very well close camp completely to visitors. No parents' night, no adults coming and going, no sharing adults. Once you come, you're here. Once you leave, you're gone type of scenario. That would include, or may very well include, all of the camp staff as well. We would ask the camp staff to commit to be at camp for the entirety of the summer. No nights off in town and no weekends headed home. Once we're at camp, we're at camp. We're reviewing procedures for equipment that we would consider common program equipment. So when we change from one session of rifle merit badge to the next, we're looking at ways to sanitize those rifles and be able to clean them so that there's no cross-contamination from one scout to the next. Think of that in terms of all different program areas. That's certainly something that we're trying to wrap our heads around. We know there's going to be a need for heightened and more standardized cleaning of latrines and restrooms. So that's something that we're looking at taking over as a staff, how we go about and manage that from a camp-wide perspective, as opposed to relying on the 11-year-old first-year patrol to clean the latrine every day. So for some of you, that's going to be a blessing. For us, I'm not sure so much, but certainly one of the things that we think is important to be able to ensure the hygiene and safety of scouts. We expect to roll out some sort of pre-camp medical check, and may very well be Scoutmaster standing in the parking lot with their troop, taking temperatures, running through a list of predetermined questions to see if you've had any exposure as of late, if you have any symptoms, prior to ever boarding the bus to come to camp. And then going through a very similar process with the camp nurse and some additional doctors when you arrive at camp. We're reviewing the possibility that we may need to do daily health screenings of some sort. Certainly that's a significant undertaking, but one that we want to make sure if this is the right, if it's a need, that we have a plan in place to accommodate for it. So those are the biggest items that we're looking at right now. And I can tell you, you know, we're having a lot of conversations with a lot of people about this. So Billy and I have been on weekly webinars with the National Outdoor Program team, covering a lot of these details and laying out plans. Our national group is doing a great job of working to be able to provide key items that we need. We know there's going to be a greater need for wash stands and hand sanitizer, and thermometers, and masks, and some PPE that we may not be able to obtain easily. So the National Supply Division is working to source some of that so we have extras and have the ability to purchase from the BSA in bulk. So we're working on that. Like I said before, we're waiting primarily on guidance from the CDC to see if we can meet their guidelines. I had a lengthy conversation with the doctor in charge of, or the health department in White County today, and outlined our plans with him. He believes that we're thinking about all the right things and we're planning for all the right things. He shared with me that White County has not peaked, and they don't expect to peak maybe for a week or two. He said a June 14 start, which would be week 1 for us, maybe a little bit ambitious, but could be on target. And so what I'm telling you, I guess in very clear terms, is we want to do everything we can to run camp, but we have to do it in a safe way. If we find that we can't run camp until July 1st, or that first week of July, we'll look at moving back to that. We'll cancel the first 2 weeks and plan and move forward accordingly. So that's where we're at this point. So my commitment to all of you is we will make a decision one way or the other no later than May 15th. That is a month out from the first troops arrival. That'll give us time. We believe that camp is in good enough shape that we can make a decision 30 days out and have camp ready to go. And we want to give our leaders as much notice as we can, but we also want to give as much time as we can for this to play out and see where we are in 2 weeks as a community, and what we expect camp to look like.
Ben,
So
we got about we got about a half a dozen questions in the chat that you're going to need to address here as well.
Yeah, I see that. I was going to take a minute to look at that. The first one I see there is about physicals.
No.
I will have an answer for you on, well, all right, hang on a second.
The first one was, what about family members, 1 per tent?
Family members could be 2 per tent. That'd be fine.
Do they have to provide their own masks?
I think everyone should plan as though you're providing your own masks. We will certainly have some on hand, but you should plan as though you have to provide your own.
Homemade masks are okay?
Homemade masks are okay.
And then now I guess we're on.
Please feel free to shake your head if I give the wrong answer here, okay?
Does the chlorine in the swimming pool kill COVID-19?
I don't know the answer to that, but before we open the pool, we'll know the answer to that. My guess is there's some protection there because in the governor's plan, he's planned for pools to be open and operational later on this summer, including community pools.
It was like, lastly, physicals, Ben.
Yeah, so we know the physicals are going to be a challenge. We will have a workaround for that. we know that you can't go to your doctor and get a physical right now.
Hey, Ben,
I don't know
can
what the
jump in
answer
for a
is for
second?
that one yet, but we anticipate either allowing school physicals or allowing last year's summer camp physicals. Those seem to be the two most common solutions. There's a little bit of legal that has to go on there because a school physical doesn't include all of the specifics that a scouting physical does. But we know that's a problem. Don't fret over it. We'll have a solution for you.
Hey, Ben,
Yes.
I jump in on one of your answers. As far as pools and chlorine, chlorine and bromine will inactivate the virus very easily. However, you're talking all the contact surfaces around the pool area, the changing areas, everything else. That you're really going to have to be very careful with the regimented cleaning of everything on a regular basis. That's where your risk is going to be in the pool area. Pool itself is fine. It's just the contact with people and all the surfaces.
And it looks like the last one here, Ben, was with regard to homemade masks. How are we going to clean them daily as recommended?
Billy, do you have a thought on that, Billy?
Yes, we have a washing machine down at the pool house that is there for adult leaders to use every day. And then we also put one in today. The wiring went in today for another washing machine at the nurse's station, so she can actually do some sterilization and washing things that we're going to possibly need going forward and for summer camp.
We'll continue to look into that too, because I would imagine there's more guidance on that. That's a good question.
If I could jump in real quick, the thing with homemade masks, you have to make sure that they are a double layer so that the air is not able to blow out a candle, or that it is a double layer to prevent that airflow transmission through. But you can throw them in a dryer on high heat. That will kill things. Also, you can throw them in the oven. Most homemade masks are like a cotton. As long as they don't have elastic straps to them, you can lay them out on trays and put them in the ovens, and you can bake them, and that will kill it as well.
So that's one of the things we expect the CDC's camp guidance to have some recommendations on. We'll certainly have those nailed down.
All right, we'll keep it moving.
Well, are we still on summer camp?
We're working our way off of it. If you've got a question, though, now's your chance.
I've got a couple of them.
Okay.
Say we're going to be cooking in camp, our meals.
That's the direction that we're headed, yes.
How much are you going to take off the fees? Because you got to remember, these scouts, a lot of them are going to be new to this, and they have to cook the meals, clean the meals up, get the product to cook. So, you know, you're going to charge them the regular $265 if they got to do all the extra work?
So we're going to provide all of the food ready to cook for you. That's a part of the plan. Scouts would come to the dining hall at a predetermined time, pick up their food, hike it back to the campsite, and cook on their campsite.
So I have a quick question related to that. Sorry. Is it possible for a unit to bring all their own food? And I ask because we've been doing our own summer camp cooking for about the past 20 years. Never used a summer camp food service. This is our first time at Buffalo because our camp got closed for the summer. I was wondering if that was an option.
So, Drew, that's something we've not looked at. It may certainly be an option, but I'm not sure that we could supply you with refrigeration.
But we have coolers.
For a week's long worth of, I think it's certainly something we can look at. So I'm not ruling that out by any means. Let me take a look at it.
No, leave it on.
Hey, Ben, can I chime in just 1 second on this?
Yeah.
The menu that Ben and I and Sue, our cook, has been looking at, it'll have a play-by-play ingredients and how to prepare and everything that we are looking at for this outpost meal. It's very explanatory, and they're very easy for these scouts to do. And we looked at all those scenarios, putting this together with Ben and me, and sew or cook. So it's something that the boys can do, and it's great for them, and it's an opportunity for them to work towards that cooking merit badge. And some of the meals in this menu, when it is released, you'll see that there are some meals that are already pre-cooked for you that will go out in hot bags.
One of the additional questions was asked was to clarify what a pre-existing condition is, and Dr. Murray chimed in there. So chronic respiratory illness, COPD, asthma, diabetes.
Lydia, no, you will go to bed. Stop.
Immune compromised individuals, in addition to anyone who just generally isn't in good health. So we're going to do everything we can to encourage leaders who probably shouldn't be at camp not to be at camp this summer.
And can I chime in a little bit more on that?
Yeah, please.
So, a big factor in this is going to be age. So those, over the age of 60, 65, especially if they're pre-existing conditions. Yeah, I saw Dave Henderson had a question about hypertension. That could be one that might be a factor. A lot of it is if some of these issues are under good control. Hypertension isn't such a big deal. Diabetes is. Chronic respiratory illnesses. So people with COPD, asthma. Again, if kids' asthma is under really good control, it's not as big of an issue. But it seems to be the combining of chronic illnesses and age is really the big factor that's going to have a big impact on people. Anyone who has immune compromise, so if anyone that's coming, if they have a chronic underlying illness that really has compromised their immune system, especially those coming off of cancer treatments, things of that nature, or if they have some other immune disorder that weakens things, these are really big issues. And again, you factor that with age, and that magnifies it substantially.
Go ahead, check them in if you want.
Great, thank you. I'm kind of counting on the fact that my level of hypertension will go down if I could get to camp, because right now I'm pretty sure it's high.
Will my level of diabetes go down if I go? That's what I want to know.
I don't know what I look like on your camera, but on mine, my face looks like it's as red as a lollipop. So I'm not sure that's a good thing or not.
Hey guys, we've got to keep moving. As been indicated, by May 15th, we're going to make our decision with regards to camp and lay out everything that you guys need to know with regards to coming to Camp Buffalo or to Cub Adventure Camp at Cary Camp as well. Cub Scout Day Camp.
I got a question on this. Okay, since you're asking us to make a decision with all our parents by May 15th, we've got to be able to tell them what they can count on merit badge wise. And if you can't tell us that, can you extend that date?
I guess I guess I'm not completely understanding the question as it regards to merit badges. So our commitment is
really simple. The question
I
is
can help.
We're asking parents to make payments for a program that you're still defining. So when they ask us, can they sign up for swimming? Can they sign up for life saving? Can they do these things? What should our answer be?
So yeah, good question. Your answer right now is have them sign up right now. It's open for them to sign up and pick their merit badges. We know that at best they're going to be groups of 10. We've eliminated the couple that like horsemanship we knew couldn't happen. As of right now, there are no other merit badges that we know can't happen. And so we believe the rest will happen. But as we know that, we'll certainly make those adjustments in the system for you, and we'll have that information for you no later than the 15th.
All right.
And we've said all along that if we cancel camp and you've already made a payment and you're not going to be able to come for whatever reason, we will issue refunds. So there's no risk for signing up right now and paying the fee as if camp is going to happen. Remember, the money that's being paid towards camp is going to cover camp expenses. And if we make the decision by May 15th, we're going to have to use that same revenue within a 30-day period to get prepared for camp, for program supplies, shirts, etc. Right? So pay for camp now as if we're all going. And over the course of the next week and a half, if we change course, everybody will get refunds accordingly. and everything will be just fine. All right, so we need to keep moving on in our program, or we're going to be at Roundtable all night. So, moving on. We just talked about that. Scott Fleek.
Lovely to follow the doom and gloom. Would you go ahead and play the video?
I will. Here I go.
I'd like to hit everybody get a chance, opportunity. Thank you.
Whoop.
If you like having fun, and if you like adventure and trying new things, the Jamboree is the best place to do it.
Go hard! Go hard! Yeah! Fighting through the fear, the blood, the sweat, the tears. Go hard! Go hard! Pushing through the pain, it's ours for the taking. Go!
If you're deciding to come to the Jamboree, it's awesome.
You get to do stuff like this. It is such a great experience for anyone who wants to get outside and do stuff.
Everybody seems to come off smiling. Out there like, yeah, this is awesome.
If you're coming to Jamboree and you want high up in the air, fun, while testing yourself, go to the ropes course.
If you're going to come to the Jamboree, I recommend the skate park 100%.
If you have an opportunity to go to 2021 Jamboree, definitely go. It's the chance of a lifetime.
Go hard! Go hard! Yeah! Fighting through the fear, the blood, the sweat, the tears. Go hard! Go hard! Pushing through the pain, it's ours for the taking. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Hard! Go hard! Yeah! Fighting through the fear, the blood, the sweat, the tears. Go hard! Go hard! Pushing through the pain, it's ours for the taking. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Hard! Go hard! Pushing through the pain, it's ours for the taking. Go hard!
All right, Scott, you're up. You're muted.
My mute button disappeared. Sorry about that, everybody. Excellent video. There's plenty of them on the website. If you have scouts that are interested in this Jamboree at all, get them involved. Get them to look at the video. This is an opportunity. It's a once in a scout's life opportunity. If they're too old or if they're sitting around the 16-year range, this is an opportunity that they'll get to go be with 40,000 other youth, and all with a common goal, with a common entertainment, with so many different adventures and high adventure obstacles and things that they get to do. There just is no match for it. You do need to have them, that youth needs to be 12 by the beginning of the Jamboree, and all the way up to 18, up to before you turn 18 in the Jamboree. The things that they'll get to do are just phenomenal, and there's plenty of videos on there. If the spots are filling up fast, we're already over halfway sold out, I guess you could say, which is a good thing. So as we get closer, they'll, hopefully within the next couple of months, we'll see more people getting involved. And, it's obviously there's been a slowdown because of this COVID-19 and not being able to come out and visit. That being said, I've talked with my other leaders, and if you are in a troop and you would like us to participate in your video troop meetings, your virtual troop meetings, we would be glad to. We'll bring along some videos such as this, provide any information we can, answer questions that we can. I've got youth that have been and attended they went to the World Jamboree just recently, and they've got a good perspective. There's also some adults that have been to several Jamborees in their past, and some as recent as the 17 Jamboree. So if anybody is interested in this, please, by all means, let Ben know. Ben will get your information to me, or Brian will get your information to me, and I'll be glad to facilitate whatever it takes. And as soon as they open the doors for us to come visit, and you would like a visit from somebody from the Jamboree to talk about it at your troop meetings, absolutely, I'm there. Does anybody have any questions?
Hey, Scott, I was busy typing. I want to make sure you announced that we're roughly half full. I do know of at least 3 more youth that are going to claim a few of those spots in the next couple of days. So
excellent.
For anyone that wants to go, now's the time to register. There's a payment schedule that spreads payments out over the year. So the quicker you get engaged and involved, the quicker you're on target with the payment schedule.
And please, by all means, show this webpage, the Jamboree webpage, to your scouts that you think are interested, to anybody in your troop. They can look it up. They can Google it. All they have to put in is the word Jamboree. It'll come up as 2021, and click on that. And there's so much information and so many videos about that. And it is an excellent, you know, a real something you're going to remember for the rest of your life, whether you're a youth or an adult. I've been to 3 now, or 2 now, sorry.
What's the cost, Scott?
So it's $1,500. $1,225 of that goes straight to the Scouts BSA. The rest of that is what it's $1,125. The rest of that is what we're going to use to get our scouts down there, to get some the paraphernalia we'll take down there. One of the big things down there is trading patches, and we're still looking for some people to come up with some great ideas for patches that we can give to the scouts so they can trade and meet while they're meeting all these other scouts there. It's just one of their big deals while they're down there.
Very good.
Anybody else?
I don't see any more questions on that. Vicki, you want to talk about Wood Badge?
I would love to. So Wood Badge is on Plan C now for our dates, but those are to be determined with another meeting. It will be this fall after the summer camp, or not summer camp. So we still have seats. If you were thinking about taking Wood Badge, you are more than welcome to still sign up on Campmaster. We'll make sure that that's open. Brian, I'm not sure if the price is still $245. I know that it had gone up to the higher rate earlier. So I think it was $275. We do have the hats now. I'm trying to get it to show here. The hats came in today, so we're looking forward to distributing those and welcoming you to camp, and come and learn some great leadership skills. The leadership skills offered in Wood Badge not only help you with leading the adults and the youth in your unit, or Plan Q. Yeah, right, Clarissa, it is Plan Q, it seems like. But the skills that you learn not only help you with leadership in scouting, it helps you with leadership in other organizations you might be involved with. It can even help you at home with communication skills, leadership skills, team development, etc. So I'm very passionate about this program, and I am so excited to be able to be the Scoutmaster of the program, although it's been a very big challenge, not one that I thought was going to be. So I don't know who made the extra challenges in this. Thank you. And I mean that sarcastically. But anyway, I'm glad to welcome any and all of you to sign up and attend this wonderful course. And I'll entertain any questions if there are any.
Vicki, the only question that came across the chat was in regards to pricing. We'll keep the pricing the same. We'll revisit if we have an early bird price or a price increase for the fall, but for the time being, price is $245.
Okay, well, it had jumped already when we had the first set of dates.
We'll take it back.
Okay. All right, and some people on, how many are signed up for Wood Badge? We had 31, we had to have a couple drop out, so there's 29, but we have room for several more. We can take to 48, 56 with an exception. And I would love to ask for that exception.
Very good. All right. We're going to keep it rolling here. Dave, where are you at?
I'm right here. Thanks, Brian. I'm here to talk to you about NYLT, National Youth Leadership Training. We have 2 weekends at Kara Camp scheduled for September 25th through 27th, October 16th to the 18th. And NYLT is basically Wood Badge for youth. It's a youth appropriate presentations and activities to build leadership skills, communication skills, teaching how to resolve conflict, getting into team building. But you know what the number one takeaway I've seen is? Confidence. If you have a boy or a girl that's 13 and first class, send them to Wood Badge. And I think we have a video promo for this.
Yep.
That Brian has queued up. And this is also live on Camp Master right now. And yeah, any questions?
All right, good. All right, Diane?
Sure thing. All right, I am just going to talk briefly. I should say Brian has done a lot of work, and we already have University of Scouting programming ready for November. November 7th is the day of our University of Scouting. Now, with a lot of people taking their merit badges online, I don't know. We had a lot of people are doing a lot of different things on their online merit badges, but we twice a year offer the University of Scouting for people. It's an in-person merit badge classes. The list is online and it's up and running in Camp Master, correct, Brian?
That is correct.
And I highly encourage you. It's at Purdue University, so we get some very qualified instructors on several unique subjects to come out. I think we have golf this year, right?
We do.
And
being taught by the golf pro at Purdue.
Yeah, and usually we get some type of aeronautical something out there, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so it's usually an all-day, most of the day on a Saturday, and I would highly encourage anyone that's interested to come sign up and come see us out there. There's also some great adult classes. So if you're going to be there anyway with your scout, it's a great opportunity to pick up some adult classes that you might be missing. Or are we going to have the availability of a lab so that they could take online classes if they wanted?
Yes, we will.
Okay. So if you ever have trouble doing those online classes at home, you can always come out to the university and take them out there. Anybody have any questions? Or did I miss anything, Brian?
Nope, we're going to roll to the video.
Oh, there's a video for it? Okay.
There is. All right. Mark Bradford, you out there somewhere?
I am.
You're up.
Okay. As you see here, we are offering this year, part of the 75th anniversary for Camp Buffalo. We are going to be doing a 75-mile, 2-day bike riding event. This will be open to all scouts and their parents and leaders. This is live on Camp Master now. This event is August 29th and 30th. And there is also going to be coupled with this a multi-week merit badge prep from now until the August 30th and August 29th date. So if your scouts sign up now, you are also getting not just the 2-day event, but you are also getting a full merit badge with a riding counselor and a merit badge counselor that's going to put together a full riding plan and work through the merit badge every 2 weeks from now until the actual event date. So the boys will have time to get rides in and actually have someone coaching them on a weekly and bi-weekly basis to help them get ready for this ride. We are going to have multiple launch locations. So we have leaders that are going to be launching out of Lafayette. We have leaders out of Greentown, out of Marion, out of Wabash. And the game plan here is we have designated routes with designated leaders. So it will be a totally guided ride on a designated route. And you will arrive then around 50 miles on Saturday. You will arrive at France Park in Logansport, where we're going to be providing camp for the night, a great dinner, and also we will have a mechanic on site that's going to be teaching a lot of the stuff that's in the merit badge. We have the luxury of Breakaway Bike Shop out of Peru, Indiana is going to be setting up a full mechanic shop that night and doing workshops with the boys and girls. And then we're going to have a great breakfast in the morning. And as one huge group, we're going to roll out for the final 25 miles to come into camp on Sunday. There'll be some exciting stuff to chaperone us on the way into camp. Hopefully, we're working on some details on that. And we're also going to provide lunch and a pool party at Camp Buffalo for all the ones that participate and complete the ride. So we'll regulate if you don't complete all 75 miles, you're not going to get to jump in. So Billy, you won't get to swim. So yeah, a lot of stuff there. You're going to get meals, you're going to get t-shirt, hoping to put together some nice goodie bags. You're getting camp, you're getting the mechanics, you're getting the full merit badge, you know, all those things. So the way it's going to be designed is they will be able to complete their complete merit badge when they roll into camp. That should be their final mileage to complete the cycling merit badge. I think I hit about every topic on that. If not, someone else chime in that's on the group planning it. And if you have questions, I'll be more than happy to answer that.
I think I want to chime in there, Mark. I think I see a challenge. I think I'm going to participate in this 75-mile bike ride. I will be prepared for it, and I will be on every bit of the way. I am going to get ready for it.
I dare
Billy,
you, Buffalo.
I hope you launch with me out of Greentown, Billy.
Billy, it's a bicycle ride, not a motorcycle ride.
Oh, man. I'm going to get ready for it.
Sounds great.
All right. Ben, I think you're up. After you unmute yourself.
Sorry, you all missed out on the most important thing I had to say all night. Let me start over. I didn't have the artwork quick enough for Brian to put this in, and these have just come in, but I wanted to give everybody, hopefully you can see, these are the 75th anniversary challenge coins for Camp Buffalo that we have. These are super cool, so stay tuned for details on those. They just came in. There's a limited edition. There's only 500, so first 500 of my best friends can get one of these. But you got to stay tuned for that. Let me jump to the real topic of mine right now. I just want to give a shout out to so many amazing volunteers who are just doing incredible work. I am blown away by all the really cool stuff I'm seeing. Troops that are having virtual camporees that are still continuing to meet We've got more scouts earning advancement right now than any other time of the year. Volunteers that are stepping up to run classes online. There's just so much cool stuff going on. I've been super impressed with the ability for scouts to continue their Eagle Border Review via Zoom, and the opportunity to be a part of that. Just really, really cool. Hopefully a lot of you took advantage of the National Camp-In last weekend. So much neat stuff that was a part of that. There's still a lot that's available from that. I can tell you, in our neighborhood, we took the opportunity as a family to host a 5K for our neighbors. And we had 65 neighbors do 6 laps around our circular neighborhood to complete a 5K. And it was just wonderful to see so many neighbors out, and to the person, they all came up and said, thanks for hosting this. Thanks for organizing this. We needed this. We needed the opportunity to have some fellowship. And so I was just super proud of that. And then I'd just like to give a shout out to some of our heroes, or some of you that are my heroes, right? So in the middle of my screen is Dr. Bruce Murray there, who continues to go to work as a physician in Logansport every day. And over on the right of my screen, Jennifer Vandenberg, I think, has probably stuck herself more times than any of us deserve, making tons of masks that she can deliver in her community, and so many others. I'm just so incredibly impressed by all the great work that our scouts and our leaders are doing. So thank you all for everything you do. You truly are changing lives now more than ever.
All right, thank you, Ben, and thank you for everyone that's participated and joined. We do have the breakout sessions that will follow another song from Lauren. There are a lot of questions out there, a lot of information that's just coming to us on a daily basis. So, appreciate the uncertainty that goes with that. And I know Ben and his team are working hard to try to nail that down for us and make sure we have every opportunity to have as normal as possible a program through the summer. So appreciate, Ben, everything you and your team's been doing. Thank you for that. And a lot of suggestions in there on how we can stay up to date on information. So they'll gather that all together and make sure that we all have the best information available as soon as it's available to communicate. So to that end, please stick around for your breakout sessions, but in the meantime, if I'm not mistaken, we got another little ditty from Lauren here.
We do. We got a little ditty, and then the breakout rooms will open as soon as the song is over, and there's nothing anybody has to do. As long as you've told me whether you're in a Cub Scout breakout or the Scouts BSA breakout, and if you haven't, just rename yourself where your name is on your screen, and I'll put you in the appropriate room, but you will automatically go there. You have 20 minutes in your breakout session, and then it will divert you back here into this regular meeting, and then we'll be on here for another 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes maybe, if people want to stick around and chat about this, that, and the other, as if we were kicking rocks in the parking lot at Roundtable, because that's happens at every Roundtable. We kick rocks in the parking lot afterwards. So,
hey, Brian, if they can't figure out how to rename themselves, can they just hit you with a chat?
Yep.
All right.
That's fine.
Let's gather around the campfire and sing our campfire song. That's CAMPFIRESONG song. And if you don't think that we can sing it faster, then you're wrong. But it'll help if you just sing along. That's CAMPFIRESONG song. CAMPFIRESONG song. And if you don't think that we can sing it faster, then you're wrong. And it'll help if you just sing along. CAMPFIRESONG song. CAMPFIRESONG song. If you don't think that we can sing it faster, then you're wrong. And it'll help if you just sing along. CAMPFIRESONG song. CAMPFIRESONG song. faster, then you're wrong. It'll help. You just sing along. C-A-M-P-F-I-R-E-S-O-N-T song. C-A-M-P-F-I-R-E-S-O-N-T song. And it'll help. Yes, it'll help. You just sing along.
Very good. All right, I'm sending everybody to your breakouts. Jeff and Al, just wait a hot second before you guys get started. And don't forget to click the record button in your breakouts. All right, I'm sending everybody there right now. Stand by. Tamara, which room do you want to go to? Cub Scouts or Scouts BSA? Kathleen Smith, where do you want to go? You got to unmute yourself. I can't hear you. All right, everybody besides Tamara should be in their breakout. Veronica, you might have to say okay on your screen, but you should be in the right room. Tamara, if you want to tell me where you want to go, I'll send you there.
Finish your hair. Come on.